Welcome to All About Money on HK IBC. I'm Chloe Feng. To survive in a highly competitive market, cafes in Hong Kong need to have something special to lure customers. But one cafe has earned a niche, following not only because of its coffee or food, but also because of its offering of coding and programming workshops. The founder says that maximizing revenue is not his top priority, as his so-called concept stores aim to change people's perception on how to learn new ideas. So meet my guest tonight, Tommie Lo, who founded educational technology firm Preface in 2015 before incorporating the concepts into a coffee shop. So welcome, Tommie. It's great to have you today.
Thank you for your invitation.
First thing first, before we talk more about your business, how about you also introduce a bit about yourself and also your background?
Hi, my name is Tommie. I'm the founder of Preface, an technology education company. We do tech enabling corporations, individuals through the latest technology and know-how. So we have been doing it in the past few years, and now the project has been growing from Hong Kong to Tokyo, Singapore, and London. This is actually my second project. The first project I did kind of like a tutorial education platform, and it succeeded, and I had successfully exited it. So therefore, this is my second project. Learn that education, maybe it's something not just about a traditional classroom. It can be more scalable. So it would be something I have been thinking. What would be something that is more scalable than just, let's say, language like English or Chinese? Then, well, we thought of programming language. We thought about technology knowledge. So this is something which is scalable, global. It's usually a global phenomenon whenever some new technology comes into the market.
Right, you think that coding, the programming or coding could be the future universal language for everyone. That's why you also incorporate this concept into your latest business in the cafe stores. And speaking of the cafe stores, when people enter your cafes, some may not really necessarily know that, oh, this is also a place where you can learn about the codings. So how did you combine coffee and coding together?
Yes, I would say now, usually when my friends or my clients ask me about, oh, why do you have a coffee shop? What is it? I would say, well, when was the last time you go to a classroom as a student, as an adult, as someone who has been working for more than a decade, right? Well, long time. But when was the last time you go to a coffee shop? Maybe this morning, maybe yesterday.
Maybe just now.
Yes, maybe just now. So therefore, I would say we can reimagine a coffee shop could be like a classroom. So whenever we meet people, we can match students and teachers together and into a place that you go every day. We just want to build a concept of learning on the go, learning immersively into our lifestyle. So we don't have to separate our time into a traditional classroom, but then we can actually have learning about from ourselves, technology, every day through coffee shops.
Through the coffee shop that you're offering, can we understand that actually the coffee shops could be one of the way to expand your access to potential customers? What's more behind this concept of offering the cafe stores?
I would say, of course, it's actually one of the concepts. Can we go to a wine bar to learn? Can we go to a clubhouse to learn? Can we go to your meeting room to learn? Of course we can. This is our business model. We learn everywhere. But then coffee shop is really a conceptual ideas about decentralizing the classroom. So I would say coffee shop, from the business point of view, is actually more like a marketing campaign. So this is how we bring our leads. It's more for lead generation and lead nurturing. And it is also a way that we allow our customers, our clients to actually engage with our staff, engage with our teachers over a physical space. So that's the concept of the coffee shop.
Tell us more about your business model. So you actually provide those kind of coding, learning workshops or tutorials for students, right? They can also learn about the coding or programming skills at the cafe stores. But how could you also make money from this?
So yes, we make money purely by doing training. So we build technology content. We have up-to-date technology content every day. So every day we will release new content. So, and who are our customers? Not only students. It's actually a lot of CEOs, a lot of corporate executive directors, decision makers. They would learn from us. So say they need to know what they don't know. So whenever there's new technology coming in, these customers would want to learn. But where do they want to learn? Sometimes they learn on the internet. Sometimes they learn face to face. When they meet face to face, we can go to their the meeting rooms, the place that they decide, my coffee shop or someone else's coffee shop. So this is basically the business model of learning without owning a classroom.
I know that one of the features at your cafe stores that through this kind of coding programs is that the tutorials are very personalized, boosted by AI algorithms, right? So tell us, how could you incorporate AI system into the learning process of learning the coding or programming these sort of skills? How could you make it very personalized?
Because the way that we bring in the coffee shop is, it's actually kind of like conceptual challenge to traditional classroom. Traditional classroom, we have one teacher, let's say 40 students in a classroom. How can we make personalization in 1:40 ratio? No way. Actually super difficult. But then in case we have as many teachers, like 40 teachers facing 40 students, but then they could be decentralized into coffee shop in New York, coffee shop in Singapore, coffee shop in Hong Kong, wine bar in Hong Kong, meeting rooms in Hong Kong, so that actually 40 to 40, reducing it is 1-to-1. When it is 1-to-1, means we can tailor-made a set of notes for each of our clients. And how could we able to make a personalized set of notes? Because majority of our clients, they do not just learn from us for one lesson. They learn repeatedly. So therefore we're getting your data, we're getting your personal behavioral data every single time. So that's why maybe from the students do not want notes, or that student want more exercise, that student want more example. Then the next generation of notes from our AI program will provide more examples, more theory, more exercise for different students. So this is how we personalize the learning journey through a decentralized one-on-one education.
This whole concept actually sounds very new to Hong Kong and also very interesting. But tell us, who are the teachers also offering such courses? I mean, you are actually matching the tutors and the students together, isn't it? Your matchmaker platform, actually. Who are the teachers, and how would you convince students to come to your platform to study instead of going to, for example, the academic institutions like universities?
The good thing is, let's say let's talk about university. When would university offer something brand new from, let's say, from the news? Let's say from the cryptocurrency fell maybe last November. Do you think the MBA school would have the latest curriculum yet? Probably not. So the way that we structure our program would be more up-to-date versus university. And our clients, majority of our clients, they don't have time to go to traditional classroom. They don't have time to go to a university regularly. They would have time to have the teachers come to them instead of they go to a classroom. So that's the difference concept between Preface of the project and the traditional classroom system.
And actually, you founded the company in 2015. That's already like quite several years ago, before this whole AI boom that we've seen this year. Did you see also a change of your business performance before and after this AI sector boom?
I would say starting from 2015-16, our concept is too new. Not much people believe in it. So therefore, we built a coffee shop. What about build a coffee shop? At least we buy a 10 minutes, 15 minutes coffee time to explain you or the clients our business model. And then over the recent years, maybe 3 years ago, everybody talk about data, talk about Python, programming language, like cybersecurity. Last year, majority of our clients talk about Web3, crypto, metaverse. So therefore, we sell technology knowledge. So therefore, whenever there are new technology knowledge, like Web3 last year, then we teach Web3. this year when it comes to generative AI, I still remember generative AI, the program ChatGPT was launched on December 1st, Asia time. Our first client will be a bank, an executive office from one of the leading bank was 6 days after, which was on December 6th.
So very fast, the whole process. So you can like revamp your education tutorials for your customers as well. Tell us, what about the latest business performance at your company? I know that in 2021, your company actually registered a 500% growth year-on-year in revenue, isn't it? What about the latest financial figures?
And that was from 2021 when we got our Series A funding, right? Yes, we have over the past 2 years, we have another 5 times of improvement from our revenue. Our top line actually grew 5 more times from 2021. It's actually thanks to the world's more concern and more focus about digital transformation. All governments, all corporations are talking about digital transformation. And then our products, we have some products which are of really good sales, more like onboarding training and reskilling training from every single Fortune 500 companies. When a Fortune 500 company wants to hire a new head role, they want someone have 15 years of experience, but then they also want them to know AI, blockchain, Web3, fintech. Do you think there would be a lot of talents having all these skills? No, really. So therefore, we would get the HR team, the people team from all these companies. What about you hire someone with 10, 15 years of experience, but then before that person come to work, send to us, we onboard them with the latest technology that you want your candidate to know. So this product is one of the biggest driver of the growth.
All right, so hold that thought. Tommie, we will take a short break, but coming up next, we'll discuss more about the coding education market in Hong Kong, as well as how can Hong Kong enhance its tech transition efforts. So stay with us. Welcome back to All About Money on HKIBC. I'm Chloe Pham. Joining us today to discuss the city's coding education market is Tommie Lo, the founder of Preface, which is a startup company specializing in tech education. So Tommie, great to have you today. Tell us, why is coding so important nowadays?
It's actually because we see that coding, programming language, is becoming a real language. In the old days, when we need to communicate with, if we were to have a lot of business with Japanese, then we need to learn Japanese. If we were to have a lot of business with Western culture, so we need to learn English. But how many business now are talking to machines? All business. So therefore, instead of becoming just the consumer of technology, we want to be the producer of the technology. So programming language become really popular and important because of that.
It's very essential skills nowadays, isn't it? But speaking of, for example, the programming language, for example, Pythons, it still sounds very intimidating for people who had no knowledge about it at all, right? So how could you also encourage people to participate in this education process as well? Also tell us, who are the people coming to your platform so far?
I would say majority of our clients are non-tech savvy people. So most of them are bankers, most of them are marketers, salespeople who have different expertise but not technology. To be honest, a lot of them, they have phobia about technology. When we turn on a terminal black and white screen, then they feel intimidated. But then at the same time, they have a big FOMO, fear of missing out, about technology, because it looks like the tech sector, and they realize that Python programming skills are so important. So therefore, our clients or our target market, mostly they have phobia about technology, but then also have a FOMO about technology. So therefore, we have to make it easy for them. Python is one of the programming language which is already relatively easier to learn than the other traditional language. So we can type Python more like typing English. But then with the latest popularity gaining from ChatGPT, So it's actually even further liberating it to the mass. Because with ChatGPT, we can learn Python, we can write Python by using our natural spoken language like English to have the AI generate the Python code for our students.
What would you say are the most important skills that students should be grasped nowadays? Would you say like prompting? Because earlier your platform also have a campaign about, prompting is something that we really need to enhance, isn't it? So tell us more about that.
I would say yes, prompting. Prompt engineer is actually one very hot sought after job in Silicon Valley. While a lot of software engineer may be going out of work, but prompt engineer are highly sought after. I would say because now with AI, we can actually give prompts to AI to complete certain tasks. But how to give the right prompt professionally, strategically, so that you get the right outcome from the AI generation is actually becoming very essential. And with the right prompting, we can actually learn programming or execute programming by prompting. I would say prompting is actually very essential, but it's not difficult to work on because we have been prompting anyway. Whenever we check with humans, it's like prompting. I ask you to do something.
As well, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. I ask you to do something for me. You ask me to do something for you. That's sort of prompting. But then the art that we need to understand technology good enough, we know how to ask the machine. That's the difference.
So this is something we can possibly learn as well to improve our the quality of our questions as well. Tell us also how big is the coding education market in Hong Kong at present, and how do you think the market will also evolve, for example, in the next 5 years?
I would say the coding education market in Hong Kong is actually super huge. When we talk about the K-12 education, university education, all these students, they need to learn coding. They need to learn programming language, but without a proper platform or space that they can learn at the moment. It's actually a multi-billion dollars market. When we talk about every single kid, they can come to learn programming every week. Every week there are 2 hours, 8 hours of work of coding education every week for every person, and we have close to a million students from 5 years old to 20 years old. So this is a huge market.
And speaking of the overall Hong Kong's ambition of becoming a tech leader in this industry as well, there are still a series of challenges that the city is facing. For example, the talent shortage, and also maybe the geopolitical tensions that is hindering such efforts as well. What would be the biggest hurdles from your point of view that the city is facing in terms of its tech transition?
I would say the biggest hurdle in the short run, it would be the tech talents. Are we having the right infrastructure or the right package to attract the real tech talents to come and live and work in Hong Kong? Because they have very fierce competition around the area, Tokyo, Singapore. They're getting a lot of good talents with a lot of attractive policy from their own governments. So this is one big challenge. But then in the long run, it's actually about the mindset. Because in Hong Kong, over the past decades, majority of the parents still want to push the kids to professional work, more like lawyer, doctor, something with certificates, something with professional in the professional sector. But then for software engineers, it's actually still quite new. There's STEM education. Actually, even day school would promote STEM education. But if you look at the proportion, the numbers of hours per week on STEM education versus language education versus mathematics education, it might not be on par. So therefore, we need to put a little bit more focus on it. So it's not really just some extracurricular activities. It's actually core. In case we treat programming language, technology serious enough, then treat programming language like our other language, like Chinese or English.
All right, so really need to put in the core priority as well in order to improve or change our mindsets to embrace such technology as well. And your mission, you earlier mentioned that you want to revamp the education model in Hong Kong, and you think that there is a mismatch about the education within the education system in the city as well. You think that the kids are not being taught in the modern way because they're still being taught in the, for example, the 19th century or the 20th centuries. So tell us more about this mismatch and how do you want to revamp the education system as well in Hong Kong?
I would say because our entire education system the traditional classroom setting has no difference from the classroom from 19th century. Maybe the only difference would be, well, there's some electronic whiteboard, there's some LCD projector or something like that. But then the mode of education is still one teacher, many students. So we're using some standardized textbook for 40 kids in a classroom. But then this is a big problem because what I can see it is a one-to-many mapping issue. One teacher trying to match 40 students. Of course, there must be some inefficiency. The system was from 19th century, and our teachers are educated in the 20th century. But our students, actually, they're born in 21st century. So we are seeing a century-long conflict about education. So therefore, one way that we would contribute into the education arena or the sector would be, what about we bring alternative to the sector? We bring an alternative that, well, actually now you can learn in anywhere. You can learn online, you can learn offline, you can learn in a coffee shop, you can learn in a wine bar, you can learn in a fast food shop, so wherever you want. So learning in a location is no longer an excuse that you think is too far to travel to a classroom to learn, because we bring our teacher to the place that you may want. So this is something we try to revamp the education system by decentralizing the concept, the notion of classroom. We can have classroom anywhere.
So it's about breaking the barriers as well, also to change the overall concepts about education, like it can happen not only from the classrooms.
Same thing that also goes to the teachers. Maybe in the old days, we need to have teachers professionally trained in the education department from the universities. But can we get lawyers, doctors, engineers to pick teaching as their best-seeking career so that we match them with our students? So this is something we also want to work on.
More and more alternatives as well, isn't it? And also, speaking of your company's further expansion plans, do you have other, for example, fundraising plans in the near term?
I would say we open to fundraising. We're actually ready to go to, whenever we do fundraising, we want to actually create more bigger impacts. We actually putting our courses and our students' learning credentials, learning history, learning experience on blockchain. So we're making use of blockchain and AI technology. We need funds to actually accelerate it. And with our international expansion into Singapore, London, and Tokyo, it looks pretty smooth and successful. And we want to actually bring in more significant impact in these markets and new markets. So we will be working on some new fundraising.
Are you accessing any sort of like government funding as well? Or let's say, what kind of assistance from the government would also be helpful for startup companies like yours?
I would say majority of the governments are actually open to technology training, because digital transformation, reindustrialization has been the biggest topics for governments in Hong Kong, Singapore, Japan, and actually a lot of different governments. So therefore, we work actively with different governments to help crafting content, crafting curriculum with different governments, and to educate their own population.
All right, that sounds a lot of work to do as well. Finally, if you could just like finish this sentence, Preface education model will be a success if
people start to learn about new knowledge every day from anywhere that they live.
Thank you very much for your thoughts, Tommie. It's a great pleasure to talk to you today. That's Tommie Lo, the founder of education technology company Preface. And thank you for watching All About Money. We'll be back next Sunday night. Until the next time, please take care.